The third one that we're going to talk about is going to be dominant. Okay, sex-linked inheritance or sex chromosomal linked inheritance. Okay, Vinod says, okay, good, good. Okay, it could be X-linked inheritance. It could be Y-linked inheritance. We'll do X-linked inheritance. Okay, see, Y-linked में कुछ है नहीं. Okay, so male is going to be XY, and if an XY is going to be affected in the Y वाला chromosome, he is going to pass on to every single male child. उसमें कुछ खास नहीं है, right? The pedigree chart is very simple. A male is going to pass it on to every single male child. Okay, but what about X? This X can come from both the mother's side also and from the father's side also. Okay, so all of these things are basically based on the Mendel's principle. Kaun sa wala principle? It is going to be based on the principle of segregation. Now take a look at dominant. Okay, so what does dominant mean? Dominant basically means one overshadows anything that is recessive, right? So that is that. Okay, sex linked, yeah, X linked. Okay, so sex linked is sex chromosome linked. Okay, it could be X linked, it could be your Y linked. Okay, so we are talking about X linked. See, a couple of examples. One is your vitamin D resistant rickets. Okay, vitamin D resistant rickets is basically a kind of a rickets जहाँ पे it is intestine is basically not able to absorb calcium at all. Okay, so how much ever vitamin D you're basically see, vitamin D is something that we say, no? So vitamin D basically helps in the synthesis of your so basically when you stand out in the sun, right, a little bit of sunshine every single day basically helps you with vitamin D to calcium absorption. So you hear this quite a bit. Okay, यहाँ पे regardless of how much vitamin D you have, okay, either through the sun's rays and through supplements, okay, the body is not able to sort of absorb enough amount of calcium. Okay, so that is basically your vitamin D resistant rickets. Similarly, you have another sort of, this is not exactly a disorder, but kind of a trait. Okay, this trait is basically a particular kind of a blood group also. Okay, so a couple of things that we've seen. Now within this, there is one thing that is different here, right? So until now, what we saw in autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive wala thing is basically in terms of allele. Okay, so we're talking in terms of genotypes. You're talking about the allele combinations or genotypes. Yahan pe, if you see, it is slightly different. What do you have here? You have these alleles present in this X and Y. So the kind of combination that we're going to take a look at is the X and Y wala chromosomes. Now we said that it is going to be X chromosome. Okay, X chromosome containing good or bad, right? So X linked. Now take a look at this. These are my combinations. I could have an X, okay, that is not affected. Okay, I'll call it normal X chromosome. I will have an X, and I don't know how to sort of like represent this. I'm just going to put it because capital X and small x. Now it will be difficult for you to understand or see, given my handwriting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle this. Okay, so I'm going to call it X prime. Okay, so X prime basically is what? Problem X chromosome. So this is normal wala thing, no problem. Okay, this is the problem wala thing. Okay, why is like normal? ठीक है, why में कोई problem नहीं है. This is X linked sort of an issue. So what could be my kind of combinations? I could basically have a combination jam pe, let us say, so this is the 23rd pair, right? So in 23rd pair, I can be an XX or I could be an XY. If I'm an XX, I'm a female. If I'm an XY, I'm a male. Okay, if I'm an XX and or XY, I'm a normal male, normal female, etc. Right? Now let us say if I say, you know, what could be the possible combinations here? I could have a combination jampe. A person is XY, number two. Okay, no problem, right? So this is a normal X chromosome, normal Y chromosome. Will the person be affected? No, it will be male. Yeah, if I have a normal X and a normal X, what will it be? A person is not affected. Now, what if I have a combination that is like this? Okay, X is affected, Y is not affected. Okay, what is that? Even then, because you have only one X chromosome, okay, and any sort of a defect there, okay, it is not going to be offset by anything else. All you have is an X. Okay, so if you have a problem wala thing there, okay, a male is going to be affected. Okay, but a female, okay, a female should have both. No, this is dominant wala thing. No, so it doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm so sorry here. Okay, I made I'll repeat this again. If the X, okay, prime Y and X is a problem, and since it's dominant, if since X is a problem, it's going to be affected. Similarly, in X, in females, you have two different kind of combinations. You can have one X that is affected. Then you can have both X that is affected. So both of these things are going to result in what? It is going to be an affected person because it is a dominant wala thing. Is that clear? Is this clear? Is this kind of a combination? Is there any other combination that I'm missing? I don't think so. Is there anything? Okay. Now please tell me if you guys have understood this. Okay. For those of you who have understood and if it's okay, you just give me a thumbs up. And if there is a thumbs up, I'll move on to the next one. And in the next one, what I'm going to do is similar to the same sort of pedigree charts that we've been drawing. How about we sort of try to take this kind of a combination. So in the male, okay, there is an affected X with a Y, and the female X and X, so she's like totally fine. right? Similarly, in the generation 2, you try to take an affected X and X. Okay, so this kind of a combination for the female, and the Y is completely unaffected. What is your chart? Okay, Shreya says it's all clear. No, it's all clear. Great, great, great. Now tell me. Okay, please tell me. I'll give you, I think this should basically take you, since it's your very first time, maybe around 2 minutes. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of time in order for you to sort of build a or draw a pedigree chart with these specs. Okay, so these specs, specifications. Okay, your 2 minutes starts now. The quickest. Okay, let's see who's the quickest. Question what is the combination for generation 3? Okay, what do we have to cross? No, so just like what we have drawn here. Okay, so I'm only giving you what has to be crossed in the first two generation. Third generation is basically what you get from the Punnett square. That's it. Okay, if I give you third generation ka what you have to cross, then again it will go on to the fourth generation. So only two generations. Okay, good question though. So Rakshita was the quickest. Capital X is the problem. Okay, so you have, so I should read it as X prime X. Then you have X prime X. So two X prime X. Then you have an X prime Y and a normal XY. Okay, okay. I'll have to see. Until I draw it, I don't know what would it be. So I have to derive it. Let's see if others get the same answer as yours, then the likelihood of your answer being correct is higher. The other answers that I'm seeing are two females who are affected and male not affected. So both the males are not affected. Is that what you're saying, Shreya? Vinod says X prime X, XX, X prime Y, XY. Okay, so top three I've read. Okay, so great work. Okay, great. I'm assuming the others are also getting it, but you're a little, you're doing it a little slower. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Hmm. So it is good. So let us see. Hmm. So what do you have here? So the very first generation, we basically said you're going to have a combination in the 23rd pair, okay, of X prime Y and XX, okay, and then you have an XX. If you draw a Punnett square for that, you're going to basically have, in fact, just draw this on the y-axis. Okay, sorry, on top, and then you keep the x here. Why so? Because it's just a protocol key. Logically it's the same thing, okay, and the Punnett square is not going to change much. It's just a protocol. See, science mein aisa hai na, right? So there are certain things that we just follow. That's the method to do it. Okay, so the male on top and the female on the side. Okay, so what do you get the combination here? You have an x prime x, you have an xx prime, you have an xy and xy. So all of you got the second generation correct. Okay, so did you get this kind of a combination for your next generation? And if that is the case, we have to get a x prime x in the next generation to cross with a normal xy. You would do this and you basically are left with this. So now how many of you got it right? Can you just confirm? Okay, so Vinod says me with a lot of ease. Okay, good. Excitement is good. Okay, so that is good. Shreya says she got it right. Okay, Rakshita ji, what happened? So whenever you get something wrong, always try to take a look whether you got it wrong in the second generation or in the third generation. Okay. Uday got it. Okay, wonderful. Shreya got it. Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so happy to see if the starting 4 or 5 of you have gotten it right. So I'm guessing that others are getting it right as well. Okay. Rakshita, do you want me to sort of see what is wrong with yours? Could you fix it? Got a mistake in the third generation. So if there is some mistake in the beginning, so we'll do one thing. How about one more? Okay, so go for it, guys, and let's see who's the quickest this time. Okay, so here you go. Okay, so here you have this kind of a combination for your generation 1, and this is going to be your generation 2. Okay, now let's see who's the quickest. Try to get it done within 1 full minute. Okay, but of course by using all of just draw propositors also. Okay, so you know how to draw it, right? So for instance, a propositor should be something, just an arrow that is required. Okay, on any of these, the first couple of guys. Now please try to see if you can get this right. 3 generations. Just tell me the answer. What is the genotypic what is the genotypes in the last generation, third generation? Try to focus on accuracy. Try to focus on getting all the steps down. Try to focus on labeling the Punnett squares for each generation in a manner jahan pe the second you decide what would be your generation 1 and generation 2, You have your pedigree chart ready with you, right? A lot of people actually memorize these pedigree charts and make mistakes. There is no reason to do it at all if you know the basics of genetics really well. Okay, you can always derive your answer. Okay, and you can free up your space. Okay, the first answer, let me read this out. Okay, so this is Vinod. You have an X, X prime, you have an XY, you have an X prime, and then you have an X prime Y. Okay, great job, Vinod. I'm not sure if it's the right answer. We'll have to see. Vikram says it's an XX prime. You have an X prime Y, X prime, XY. Other one says two females affected, one male unaffected, one male affected. Okay, okay. Perfect. Okay, so if you guys got it right, um, although I don't know if it's right, so let's just take a look and just tell me. Okay, I don't have the answer off the top of my head. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so you basically take a combination which is x, y, x prime, x. Okay, what do you get here? You what should you do here? X, y should be on top, and x prime should be out here. Okay, and then you basically get the combinations. Once you get the combinations, try to sort of plot this. In generation 2, you should pick an x prime. Okay, great, here, and then with a sort of x prime y. Okay, so both of them are going to be affected, right? Why so? Because we have sort of, this is sort of clear. So in the next generation, you again sort of draw this x prime y here and x prime x, and you're going to get a combination that is x y unaffected. Although keep the unaffected ones on the right hand side, it's always easier, and left hand side you keep the different kind of affected. Okay, so x prime x, x prime y, x prime, and then xy. Now please take a look and tell me who. So Rakshita ji says x prime x. Sorry, capital X is. Rakshita, your capital X is basically x prime. Is that what it is? So Vinod got it right. Wonderful. Shreya has gotten it right. Wonderful. Rakshita has gotten it right. So that's great. Okay. So all of you have gotten it right. Wonderful. So I guess the last one I am now going to solve. I guess I'll leave it as an assignment, huh?